will be presenting on nostalgia and the desire for the homeland.
A very good afternoon to everybody present here. I am Shaminaz from Allahabad. I am presenting a paper which is also co-authored by my friend Dr. Shaista Masih. The title of my paper is Diasporic Sensibility of the South Asian Writers, Nostalgia, Concern for Homeland or Caching of Emotions. To have lived without even attempting to lay claims to one portion of the earth, to have lived and died as one has been born, unnecessary and accommodated. These words reflect the painful diasporic consciousness of a person who is migrated to a land where he lives but cannot call his own. A remarkable portion of English literature, especially belonging to 20th and 21st century, comprises of diasporic sensibility. Diaspora in 21st century has given way to the new modes of thinking in the field of theory. A brief understanding of diaspora is imperative in the further elaboration of diasporic literature and theory that abounds in a different sort of sensibility. Diaspora has been derived from the Greek word diaspora, that means dispersion. In English language, it refers to the scattering of Jews to the countries outside Palestine after a Babylonian captivity. Furthermore, the word expanded in its literal meaning and began to be understood as the migration from one country to another. South Asia, known as the Third World by the Western countries, has seen a large scale of migration of people to USA, UK, Germany, France or other European countries for the sake of professional or academic purposes. The last quarter of 20th century has witnessed a sharp rise in the migration of people from South Asia to the Western world for the up-mentioned reason. Besides, there was also an urge of better option in standard of living. Since literature is the only medium of expression of a personal experience, there has been an abundance of diasporic literature in the past few years. These writers are unable to detach their mind from the land from where they belong. There is a nostalgia in these writers that colors their work. There is also a concern for homeland which they have left behind. The diasporic author engage in cultural transmission that is equitably exchanged in the manner of translating a map of reality for multiple readership. Moreover, they are equipped with bundles of memories and articulate an amalgam of global and national strands that embody the real and imagined experience. In this way, diasporic literature is a major part of contemporary literature because of the global understanding it imparts to the reader. Sometimes it also helps in depicting the genuine problem of any country. It is imagined experience, but the fundamental of this imagination is rooted in reality. Some terms that are usually associated with diaspora are exile, alienation, nostalgia, despair, dislocation, abandonment and disintegration. But at the same time, it is also truth what Ejaz Ahmed opines. He says, diasporic writing are to some extent about the business of finding new angles to enter reality. The distance, geographical and cultural, enables new structure of feeling. The hybridity is subversive. It resists cultural authoritarianism and challenges official truth. In the contemporary scenario, diaspora has become an effective tool of postmodernism by means of which the big voice of master narrative could be challenged. Those living on the margin who feel exiled and alienated from their roots and find no place of their own can effectively discharge their voice. Topographically, South Asia is surrounded by Western Asia, East Asia, Central Asia, Southeastern Asia and Indian Ocean. According to United Nations Geoscheme, they divide the world into region countries that comprise South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Afghanistan. South Asian diaspora is one of the world's largest diaspora. Contemporary South Asian diaspora is mainly voluntary. It is to the countries like Germany, France, USA, UK or other European countries for professional or academic reasons. As explained earlier, it is not the forced one as in 18th and 19th century for indentured labor. South Asian diasporic consciousness, as any other diasporic consciousness, consists of an experience of inadjustment. In the new country, Since they do not regard it as their true homeland, there is a feeling of alienation from it. But at the same time, they have a doubt that they are not accepted by their original land, and there is an alienation from their land too. The situation for them is like they belong to no place. In a land where one ceases to connect with imparts one loneliness to the immigrant. The difference of culture deepens, and so deepens the nostalgia and isolation. In diasporic consciousness, the sense of loss, nostalgia, alienation, isolation, shock are interconnected with each other. They all come from the feeling of disconnection from the new place. The migration are often from the developing countries to the developed countries. South Asian countries are developing countries. The material luxuriates are not in abundance in these countries, while the developed countries offer physical luxuries to a great extent. The difference is not only in terms of physical aspect as infrastructure and lifestyle, but also in terms of social aspect as culture and societal norms. The migrated person could strongly sense this disparity between his native country and the new country. The migration are often from developing countries to developed countries. This brings to him an imbalance or disadjustment that prevent the person from settling down completely. The diasporic writing of South Asia has multiple views of emotions and feelings in it. It is full of feeling of alienation, love and concern for homeland, nostalgia, dispersion and sometimes depression due to dejection, a dual identity with original homeland and adopted country. Identity crisis, search for self in a foreign place, a struggle to save the oneself from being dissolved in the culture of strange people. Besides, there is also a feeling of revolt against discrimination in the adopted country. There are several writers that are venting out their feeling in this way. They wish to let the world know what lies beneath the glossy surface of extravagance that is part of their life. Diasporic writing is also a voice of those living on the margin and who are disposed. Salman Rushdie, who is a Booker Prize winner for his book Midnight Children. His book is an allegory that deals with the history of India from 1910 to the declaration of the emergency in 1976. The story is set in the backdrop of real historical situation and incident. In his famous book Imaginary Homeland, he has discussed the problem faced by the immigrant and the people living in exile, their sense of loss, their urge to reclaim what was lost. Bapsi Sidhwa, a writer from Pakistan, has in his book An American Brat tells the story of a young Pakistani girl between the culture of the East and the West. This is what is called cultural shock, which immigrants from the Oriental world exhibit in the Occidental world. It is no doubt that diasporic writing has given a new dimension to the Indian writing. In fact, it is because of the diasporic Indian writing that literature of India is becoming world famous. Salman Rushdie was the first Indian to receive Booker Prize for his book Midnight Children, Arundhati Rai for her book God of Small Thing, Kiran Desai for Inheritance of Loss, and Arvind Adiga for The White Tiger. But the Western world is more interested in the Oriental life rather than the literature. A certain kind of writing is needed to please the readership of the West, and this is quite known to many writers. Lost identity. One of the main traits among immigrants, a long period of distance from their land and a constant mingling with a foreign culture takes away the identity from the immigrant. While the motherland seems to forgetting him, the adopted land is yet suspicious to accept the person unconditionally. There are many writers of the subcontinent who, because of living according to Western taste and expectation, have lost touch of their own country. Example can be given of Bharti Mukherjee, who sees herself now as an American immigrant rather than an expatriate. There are different responses. Okay, I want to conclude my paper. I think that it is no doubt that diasporic Indian writer or writer of the South Asia are making Indian writing in their country's writing more visible through the world, but are they genuinely trying to depict the emotion which are tied to one's own motherland, or they are just sharing their experience for monetary? Thank you.
Thank you, Shaminaz. We got the last paper, that's Dr. Priya Verma, who's looking at the Kanupriya.